Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here, and today we're going to be talking about the Fighting Lion and its masterwork catalyst. We'll be going over how to obtain it and what exactly it does. And of course, we'll finish off with some of my opinions on the masterwork catalyst and how good it is. To obtain the masterwork catalyst, all you have to do is follow the quest from Amanda Holiday for Festival of the Lost. It's a relatively short quest. All you got to do is go through 2 lost sectors on Io, clearing waves of enemies, and then go into the haunted forest. And after doing so, you'll receive a fighting lion and its catalyst from her, and you can begin to upgrade the weapon and work on completing the catalyst. To masterwork the fighting lion and upgrade the weapon, you'll have to do 2 things. Firstly, you'll have to get kills with the weapon, and secondly, you'll have to do bounties. And when I say you have to do bounties, you have to do a lot of bounties. Of course, in-game, it only shows you your progress towards the catalyst in terms of your bounties completed as a percentage, but if you look at Destiny Item Manager or any program like that, I assume, you'll be able to see your progress is out of 2,500. So it's actually a point system, and you have to get 2,500 points, where each bounty, as far as I know and I was able to test, were worth 15 points. So at 15 points per bounty out of a total 2,500 points, that means you're going to be doing just a little bit more than 160 bounties. That being said, Amanda Holiday does have a specific bounty that, through completing 15 of her other bounties, will award bonus progress towards your catalyst. So we can obviously assume those are worth more than 15 points. What I did to complete the bounty portion of the Masterwork Catalyst was I went to do all of my Vanguard, Crucible, and all of my Gambit daily bounties across 3 characters. In addition to this, I went to do all of the bounties on each of the individual planets. The vendors on each of the planets will have 3 bounties that are very easy, not difficult at all to do, so I'd recommend doing those because they could be done in a very short amount of time and give you the same progress as any other bounty would. These daily planetary bounties are available on each individual character as well, so be sure to do them on each character. Pretty sure it goes without saying that each character's bounty progress does go towards the overall progress of the Fighting Lion Catalyst, and in my experience, I didn't even have to have the Fighting Lion on me to finish the catalyst, but I did anyways, just in case. As I mentioned, the second portion to completing the catalyst for Fighting Lion is getting 1,000 kills, I counted this in PvE, with the Fighting Lion. The way I did this that was really easy to complete was just starting up an escalation protocol and killing waves of enemies over and over and over. What I best suggest though is while you're doing the bounties, get kills with the Fighting Lion whenever you can, so you don't have to spend as much time once you're done killing enemies. I think it's worth mentioning that I actually went into the Shattered Throne dungeon to try and farm the Shadow Thrall that spawned there infinitely, but for me, it didn't count those kills towards the progress of the catalyst. Now let's talk about functionality. Is this worth that insane grind? What exactly does this bring to the Fighting Lion? Well, as it reads, after this weapon fires, equipped kinetic and power weapons get a brief period of increased handling and accuracy. Firstly, and I think we need to address this because in the patch notes it said Fighting Lion got a damage nerf, and it appears like that's only in PvE. So to activate the Masterwork buff, the Chimera buff, all you gotta do is fire the Fighting Lion and swap weapons to either your kinetic or your power weapon. But there's a bit more than that I found, so there's just about a 3-second timer that actually starts after you fire the weapon, and regardless of when you swap, it doesn't matter. It's the timer started and it only lasts for 3 seconds after firing the weapon. You could swap at the end of when you're about to reload, and well, it still just lasts for the 3 seconds from when you shot. Or you can swap at the beginning as soon as possible, and well, you're probably just going to get the entire duration of the 3 seconds. As far as the accuracy buff, this is something that's really difficult to quantify. I try to avoid anything about the accuracy stat in general because it's so hard to recreate and show you guys the effect that it's taking. There's so many different variables, different factors, and things under the hood that even I don't understand because I'm not a developer, so I can't fully explain or show you what the effect of it is. But all I know is when you use this, it is noticeable. You notice that your shots are landing pretty consistently, and accuracy isn't just, well, let me just see where my hitboxes end or where I can hit from. I think there's a lot more things that go into it than just that, and it's incredibly hard to recreate, test this, or quantify it without being a developer. These are 2 things that I can show to somewhat represent that there is a buff to accuracy going on, and the first thing here is that if you look at the crosshairs of when the buff's active, they're tighter and then they release a little bit when the buff is no longer active after the 3 seconds. I showed this same example in a past video for things like opening shot, which improve accuracy, and even lucky pants, and in fact the lucky pants buff pretty much works identically to how this Fighting Lion buff works. I can also show you guys me shooting a hand cannon at pretty considerable distance without any sort of recoil compensation, and you can see when the buff is inactive, it's a lot less reliable, shots are more spread out, but when the buff's active, the shots are a lot tighter and land more reliably, so this seems to mitigate bloom on hand cannons. For the handling buff, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. This is just overall a huge improvement to the Fighting Lion because this is going to allow you to swap really quickly from the Fighting Lion, which already has full stability, to whatever other weapon that you have very quickly. So you deal some damage with the Fighting Lion, you swap, and then you clean up the kill very, very quickly, like quicker than I expected. Like when I used it in game, it was pretty nuts. Of course, it also improves the ADS speed, which is huge because you can essentially go from firing the Fighting Lion, instant swap to your weapon, and instant ADS ready to clean up the kill. And that's really, really powerful, especially for fending off shotguns. From what I tested, the Chimera buff had a greater speed effect for ADS and handling than that granted by the Ophidian aspects. But from what I could see, it could be stacked with the Ophidian aspects as well. However, the speed of the Chimera buff was slower than the Dragon Shadow. The ADS speed not by much, but the draw speed drastically so, and it could not be stacked together. The last small benefit to the Fighting Lion's Masterwork Catalyst is it boosts the reload speed from 55 to 82, so this allows you to have a slightly faster rate of fire. So is this a game changer? Ultimately, I don't think so. I don't think this is something that's going to take the meta by storm and everyone's going to be using it. However, for those individual few that are seeking an anti-meta option, a way to counter shotguns, a different way to play or different play style, then this is something not to be slept on. And for those going against the Fighting Lion with Masterwork Catalyst, you will probably notice the lethality of how fast you can switch weapons, and you'll be punished very, very quickly for any mistakes you make in terms of movement. If you're not used to facing this, it might really take you out of your comfort zone and force you to play differently. Overall, this is an incredible improvement to the Fighting Lion, and I think just exactly what it needed to stand out as an exotic weapon. So it might not be the easiest thing to use and pick up and do well with, but again, if you're looking to play a counter to the meta, I think this is an excellent option. And for Fighting Lion lovers out there, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Anyways, that's my guide, breakdown, and thoughts on the Fighting Lion Masterwork Catalyst. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, it's been Drew here today, and I'll catch you guys later.